As we have been reporting, the state's Gaming Facility Location Board has recommended that all 3 remaining downstate casino proposals should get a license. Here's a look at the 3 proposals that are on the board here. Bally's in the Bronx, Metropolitan Park near Citi Field, and Resorts World, an expansion of the existing infrastructure there in Queens. These 3 have gotten through every step so far, so they're nearing the end of what has become a years-long process. However, today's board meeting was not drama-free.
The board selects Bally's Bronx, Hard Rock Metropolitan Park, and Resorts World, New York City.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you!
Some demonstrators there making their voices heard during this board meeting today, making that recommendation formal. For more on this, I want to bring in Queensborough President Donovan Richards. So as I said, first of all, good to see you. Thanks for coming on News All Day, as always. A very, very long process. Still some people who are not on board. So what do you say to the skeptics after today?
There's always skeptics, but what I would say is this is nearly $14 billion of investment going into Queens County, nearly 30,000 jobs. You talk about the Innovation STEM Center, the Kenny the Jet Sports Center coming into Resorts World. You talk about nearly $2 billion going into the MTA coffers to update our transportation system in Queens. Queens hit the jackpot.
And as you have famously said, Queens gets the money during this process. Originally, there were 10 proposals, I think, something like that, a little bit more. And it was surprising for people to see how difficult it was to get this license. Because you're talking about Hudson Yards, Times Square, locations that seemed like they made sense. So why do you think these 2 spots in Queens were uniquely appropriate for a situation like this?
Well, you think about JFK Airport, how close in proximity Resorts is. 60 million visitors came through JFK Airport last year. Over 33 million people came through LaGuardia last year. So almost 100 million people just about coming through Queens County. So you got to fly into Queens, and we want to keep that disposable income. We want you to stay at the hotel. You have the USTA that had 1 million visitors last year. The Mets, on average, have about 2 million visitors a year. Hopefully we hit a big Grand Slam this year as we come into the season and win the championship. But you think of Queens being live, work, and play. And we talked a lot about this coming out of the pandemic, how we wanted to cut unemployment. 24.4% unemployment rate, we're down to 5.2. With both of these proposals, nearly 30,000 jobs, we can eradicate poverty, create upward mobility for Queens residents. And it's, like I said, really a real win for the residents of Queens.
You mentioned the USTA, so I do want to see if there's any update on that. I know there have been some disagreements between USTA and the Steve Cohen project. It seems like, at least at the moment, those have been put on hold.
It's been figured out.
It's figured out for good?
Yeah, so they won't have concerts the days that the USTA, and it's always been an unspoken agreement. But, there is a lot of traffic congestion. The USTA could certainly be doing more for the community as well, and I want to lay that out. They can be better partners. But I want to say overall, to get all 3 of the sports venues, in close proximity together brings a lot more revenue into our borough.
What is your message to Queens residents, visitors, Mets fans, whoever it may be, because there is going to be even more construction, potentially more traffic as we build this project moving forward over the next couple of years?
Take the train. take public transportation. There's a reason why there's so much investment being put into public transportation here. The LIRR is running more regularly and will run even more regularly there. And there will be parking. The Mets are going to increase parking there as well for the Citi Field plan, for the Metropolitan Park plan. So use public transportation. And we're working on ferry service, by the way, to Citi Field.
We talked a lot about Citi Field. Let's talk a little bit more about the expansion of Resorts World. Again, seen as probably like the not surprising one of the 3, or least surprising of the 3, because it's just expanding upon what's already there. Anything that our viewers should know as this project probably moves forward? Again, the ratification is still yet to come.
Well, you're talking about 6,000 additional jobs. Resorts World has already been a great partner to Queens. We just fed 6,000 people last week for Thanksgiving. So they have a record. One of the things that hasn't been spoken about is the $50 million investment they're going to put into housing, and how their site has the potential for us to build almost another Rochdale Village because of the landmass there. But I'm really excited about 50 additional stores coming into play. There's Speakeasy, the STEM Center. We want to really get our young people engaged in learning STEM. And we're going to have a committed center there for the young people of Selden, Queens.
What can we expect first? Of course, shovel's not even in the ground yet. I know we're years away from these becoming a reality, but any sort of impact that we can expect to see first?
Well, Resorts is ready to go. I think by March, they'll be ready to open on their first potential phase already. So they're ready to go come January, as soon as the Gaming Commission locks it all up. And then, Citi Field, I mean, the beauty of both of these sites is that they're very insular. So Citi Field, it's their parking lot. You're not really having a lot of disruption. Only thing is we do have the soccer stadium coming up across the street. We'll have residents moving into affordable housing there come around this time next year. So I don't see a lot of major impacts. Maybe the infrastructure, but infrastructure is great. Anytime we could invest in infrastructure.
It will keep you busy for sure. Queens Borough President Donovan Richards, good to see you as always. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage, and click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.